There have been several media reports, some of them contradictory over the last few days, that a Russian-linked ransomware group called Snatch has claimed to have hacked the servers of the Department of Defense. The group says it's stolen military contracts, internal call signs, and personal data. Dean Wingrin is an aviation and defense journalist. Dean, good evening to you and thank you for your time. At first, the Defense Department seemed to deny that this has happened. Then they sort of kind of retracted their denial. What do we know about what's actually happened?
Good evening, and thank you, Stephen. Yes, there seems to be a little bit of confusion in the Department of Defense. It was just a few days ago that this hacker group, as you said, called Snatch, posted on their website that they had downloaded quite a huge trove of documentation from the Department of Defense. I think they say it's approximately 1.6 terabytes of that data, and that they would be making this available, which they subsequently did, and they actually put down a single proof of concept or proof of identity type of documents, which was like a telephone directory, an enhanced telephone directory of senior officials within the Department of Defense with their force numbers and contact details. So this is their personal information that's not generally out there. So it does appear that there actually was this breach. When the Department of Defense was contacted, they appeared not to have known about this. And it was, I think, the general media who had to inform them for them to investigate on that aspect.
So we know sort of what the group says it's stolen. Could they have stolen other things? Could there be some kind of, and we've seen this before with banks and financial institutions, there'll be a sort of secret negotiation around this. Could that be happening in the background? Maybe it's hard to know.
It could very well be. From more current media reporting as well, is that this Snatch gang seems to distance themselves from another ransomware group called Snatch as well. Same name, but this crowd appears to be a bit more lenient in what they do with the data, in the sense that they indicated that they're not going to hold it for ransom and demand payment for it. But it appeared that, or they say, that they approached the Department of Defense and various persons, unidentified persons there, who appeared not to take them seriously and did not even know what they were talking about when they said a server had been hacked. So, which is quite worrying.
Do we know how secure the Defense Ministry servers actually are? The Justice Ministry suffered a hack. We know around the world there have been many hacks, even quite secure places in some cases. Do we have any understanding at all in how secure the servers at the Department of Defense are? Well,
if I could briefly take a step back, and this goes back probably to about 2012, when the National Cybersecurity Policy Framework was approved by Cabinet, and strangely enough, only published in 2015. And this gives the responsibility to the South African National Defence Force to introduce a cyber defence strategy. And it's actually taken the Defence Force about 8 years to finalize the strategy. And under this policy framework, you know, the Defence Force implemented a new division called the Cyber Command. But this command, like all other arms of the Defence Force, is wholly underfunded, totally inadequate budget. And it's really struggling with the limited funding that it has to train and retain highly skilled staff. And there's even a possibility of them poaching skilled staff from other areas of the Defence Force. And also to fund hardware and software, as well as to train the internal staff. So all of these have an impact on the ability of Cyber Command to actually prevent and follow up on any potential attacks and hacks that may have occurred or and it's bound to occur. It's just the nature of the industry that these things are going to happen. We saw it, as you say, with the Department of Justice. We saw it with Transnet, how it crippled Transnet, and even the Master's Office. So who are still suffering the effects of that.
Dean Wingrin, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you, Aviation and Defence journalist. Really do appreciate the time tonight.